my literal whole life was the church. Jesus. Bro, what just happened? This man tried to attack me. My connection with my higher self is because I want to reach my potential so bad. Like, I want to know who I'm supposed to be more than anything else.
Aloha everyone, and welcome to Justaposition, the podcast where we explore mental health, vulnerability, and personal life journeys with creators you know and love. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already, and listen to new episodes out every Thursday wherever you listen to your podcasts. I am here in person with a guest. It is another in-person interview, my personal favorite. I'm here in LA, and I'm so fortunate to be sitting across from Madi B Webb.
You're so kind. I also love that you introed this with aloha. I was like, oh, aloha.
I know. It's a little bit of a scam considering I'm in LA. I'm not even in Hawaii while saying that.
I don't know. I was into it. I'm like, wow, we just traveled. I loved it.
Exactly. Thank you so much for coming here. It was a little bit of a journey for you to get over here. A little bit of, direction, chaos.
Listen, sometimes, what did they say? They say that when the dress rehearsal goes terribly, the performance goes amazing.
Exactly.
And I had a wild time trying to get here today. I don't know what happened. My entire phone crashed, but we're here.
We're here. We're going to have a phenomenal recording. It's going to be great.
Absolutely.
I mean, so I want to share the backstory of how we first met.
Yes.
But for anyone who doesn't know who you are, please introduce yourself.
My name is Madi B Webb. I am an entrepreneur and content creator. I live in LA. I do personality content, fashion content, lifestyle, but my main goal behind the purpose behind all my content is to mainly empower women, especially since I grew up very disempowered. So now my whole life goal is we got to raise the girls up,
Yes.
Self-love club.
I love it. And I think you edify that so much, just not only in your presence, but the way that you talk about those things, because we first met at a conference called Web Summit in Portugal, which is basically
the best week ever.
It was so cool. It's so cool. It's this huge convention where tech CEOs, diplomats, UN representatives, nonprofit founders, they all come together and talk about how we can utilize technology as a way to be more impactful on global social issues. And we randomly met at an event where we were doing a round table together. And I have to tell you what the backstory.
I can't wait to hear this because you've been teasing me. I want to know.
Oh my gosh. So it was so funny. We went to this really nice dinner. It was at this beautiful, I don't know what it was, but it was there was antiques everywhere. Yeah.
It felt it felt witchy in a good way.
Yeah, it was beautiful, rustic,
Remember
old.
the dancers?
Oh my gosh, yes. And they had these.
We need to ingest a video of that because
I
that
know.
was crazy.
It was so bizarre. So it was this dinner event, and then all of a sudden there's these people. Did they have masks on?
They had masks on, and
they were walking around, just standing in silence.
They were in cloaks.
And apparently it was some I don't know, deeper meaning dance thing that they were doing as a way to send a subliminal message to the attendees, of which I had no idea what they were referencing.
I had no idea what the plan was. Well, I didn't know what was going. I was looking around are we getting ritualized right now? Did someone prick my blood at some point and I literally didn't even feel it?
Because we're about to be locked into this house and not let out.
Besides that,
yeah,
it was a maze.
Yeah, it was so great. And we were both a part of this round table discussion. And I'd been, notified that, I was going to be a part of it. I was like, this is great.
No, he wasn't a part of it. He led it. He led the whole, it was round table by Hyram. How to give purpose it was purpose in content.
Oh my gosh, great memory. I'm so impressed.
I was impressed. I was like, I love this. It was great. Okay.
I mean, it was great. But what's so funny is that I had no idea I was leading it at all. And so I come to the event and I'm I already did my speech today. I can relax. I had a few cocktails. I was super tired. And I have someone coming up to me. They were like, okay, this is how the round table's going to go. Just FYI, I was like, sounds great. Sounds good. I go up to the roundtable discussion area, there's a CEO that I respect who's like sitting right next to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, like so nice to meet you. It's an honor to be in this panel with you. I see that there's the actress who plays Lily Vanderwoodson from Gossip Girl. My
love her.
number one show ever is like sitting there. I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. And he's like, okay, so like, are you excited to lead this roundtable?
Your name was printed
and I was like, what are you talking
everywhere.
about? I look over and my name is in fat bold lettering. It's like purpose in change by Hyram. And I was like, the second I look over, that's when all of you guys are staring at me, like nodding at me to like start the round.
How did you? I had no idea that you didn't know what was going on. I would like. How did you? You carried that.
I pulled it out of my ass so fast. Like I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. I was like, okay, thank you everyone for coming to this round table. We're gonna be talking about. I literally just like went with it. I had no idea.
I cannot believe that because you did so good.
Well,
I don't know
if
that was me, I'd be like, guys, I had no idea I was leading this right now because like it was so intimate. Honestly, if you would have said, but it was way better the way you did it. But I think if I was in that situation, I'd be like.
My heart. No, I like blacked out basically the whole time. I'm like, I don't remember what we talked about.
I do. I remember every single thing. Me and Hyram went to war. We went to war on purpose.
It was debate.
I love a debate. One thing about me, I hate confrontation, but I will thrive in it if I enter the situation.
And it got like a little heated debate, but it was like a good like constructive type of debate.
And we both met Kelly Rutherford that night, which Kelly is plays the mom on Gossip Girl.
Yep.
And she's amazing, by the way.
She's so cool.
She actually is the mom of, because she's like in real life.
Yeah.
She's legit the same.
The thing. You know how like in Gossip Girl she like carries herself with like so much grace. That's exactly how she is in real life. But like talking to her, she's like genuinely such a good person who like wants to help people and like make a difference.
And she wants to be in the wilderness alone with her, like she's like she lives in England.
Yeah, with her 2 wiener dogs.
Not us just talking about Kelly.
I know. that's a podcast topic for today.
We're giving all the tea on Kelly. No, but we just like her a lot.
Yeah,
she was great.
I mean, the whole event was like absolutely amazing, and I was able to see one of your presentations.
Which one did you see?
So I did. I will be honest, I think it was like a question answer format. It was at the very end of the website. It was packed.
Was it with 3 people or 2? Or wait, 4 people?
It was with I think only 2 other people, like 3 people. I'm not trying to like
quiz you on this.
I know.
But I did.
She's basically saying that she's so popular that she spoke on multiple panels.
So I did a few panels that day. I was just wondering.
It's so hard to nail it down to just
I'm
one.
like, la, la, la. No, I'm asking because my first panel that I did, I also got into a debate.
Really?
And I had to like fight for my life.
It wasn't a debate.
No, I literally had to fight. A bunch of people came up to me afterwards and are like, bro, what just happened? This man tried to attack me and everything that I was saying.
Of course it's a man.
I wasn't going to say it, but...
Oh my God, how ironic that you're invited to Web Summit to talk about like, more opportunities for women and a man tries to shoot you down.
It was absurd actually, because we were on a panel talking about. This is so crazy too, because he literally tried to hit on me afterwards, and I was like, "Are you out of your fucking mind?"
What?
No, this is so fun. He like kissed me on the cheek. He was like, "What are you doing late tonight? What are you doing?" And I was like, "Not you, bro."
Oh my
Let me tell you one thing. But no,
God.
The whole point of the panel was how to use comedy to talk about world issues.
Oh, I love that.
Which I do a lot, like especially when it comes to trauma, essay, like a lot of like darker topics that I've personally experienced in my life that I share online. I like to use humor to make education entertainment. And we got on the topic of analytics and how important they are, because you can learn from your analytics what people want to see, and you can learn you can say the same message, but if you can figure out how to word it or put it in a way that is accessible to a larger audience, why wouldn't you want to do that? And he was arguing with me, saying that that's not art if I use analytics.
Not the mansplaining, Jesus,
because he's in broadcasting. I don't know, but there was a lot happened that week too.
I mean, I will say the conference is a very interesting, like, concentrated form of like honestly, I think what is kind of going on in the widespread world, because you have all these like older CEOs, very old fashioned, basically like, you know, patting themselves on the back for talking about change that their companies won't implement. And then you have like a whole I'm sorry, I just have to be honest. And then you have like a whole younger group of people who are actually like really trying to fight for like social justice and change, which is why it was such an honor for both of us to be invited to Web Summit.
There was no one like us there.
Yeah.
Like there was like very few people that were, because I think that's why we kept getting in these situations where we were kind of fighting for ourselves, because we're coming from such a different perspective. And what bothers me about I hope one day, like when I am in the position of like I'm the old CEO boss lady bitch, I hope that I am very open to the younger generation, their opinions, their ideas, their perspective, because it just felt so like, oh, you don't know anything that you're talking about, like you just wait and see. And you're like, I can't argue my perspective if your only argument is that you have more time. Then you're just completely discounting everything that I have to say because you think it's more valuable that you're older than I am. Exactly. Like, is that what you have over me? And like, yes, of course you have more money, more business, whatever. Like, you're in a different stage of life. That doesn't mean that my perspective, my opinions, and my experience isn't important or valid.
Exactly. That's why I think it's so important to have like young people involved in these really important conversations around like how to do ethical business and, you know, social issues, integrating change and purpose into business practices, because I think young people offer such a fresh perspective that's so separated from traditionalist business views and what they've been doing for like 40 years. Plus, I think young people kind of offer like a new perspective where it's like, well, what if we did it this way? What if we could implement it this way? A fresh perspective that they haven't seen before. That's why I felt super honored. Both times I've been to Web Summit, I've been super honored to be there, because I'm like, wow, like how cool that they would be open to like kind of like merging these conversations.
And as much as we're talking about the people who were against us, there were so many people who valued our opinions. And that I'm like have chills thinking about it. I feel so grateful that I got to be there. It was just amazing. And just to be in an audience of people who are all have like everyone there had their own business, their own startup, their own something that they're trying to accomplish. And like they really cared. They really cared about what we had to say. That was really cool.
I know, it was so cool. Honestly, like environments like that give me like such a rush of energy, because it's like, oh, this is where change can like hopefully start to happen. You know?
Absolutely.
And I also want to ask you, like, because I know everyone would be interested to know like the reasons like why Web Summit like invited you in the first place, like some of the projects you've been working on, what you've been trying to integrate within your content. I mean, you obviously spoke before about like you wanting to speak specifically to women throughout your content, but like talk about like, you know, being an entrepreneur and all of that, like share.
Yeah, honestly, I think the reason that I was chosen and invited was because last year when I was at Web Summit, I was running and operating 4 businesses by myself, and I had, you know, 5 women working under me that I managed completely. So cool. And what's so crazy is that, so I, you know, obviously ran my social media and I didn't have management. Like I literally just signed to management a week ago. I'm so happy and grateful. You know, I like the amount of weight that takes off of me as a business and able to be more of a creator. I've grown an absurd amount since I got management, because like so much of the back end is just like taken off. But anyways, I was doing that. I have a consultation business, which is another.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah. Wow. I don't advertise it because I'm very, very exclusive with my time, and I only do passion projects. Like I will not do consultation for anyone or any business that I'm not extremely passionate about, because it's so much work. It's so much work. And it's so much like you're educating constantly and also having to like make minor changes to every single thing and explain each exact minor changes, because I help businesses, and specifically women in the music industry. Actually, it's my niche.
Cool.
I love to help female artists learn how to utilize social media, specifically TikTok, short form video content, in order to build a community, a fan base, like a cult following essentially. Because I think specifically with artists, like a huge issue I personally see in the music industry is that, well, one, labels are old fashioned, old
labels
school.
Are predatory.
They're
in a lot of
predatory,
ways, yeah.
and their social teams are dumb as hell. Let me tell you, the biggest labels, I work with some of the artists from the biggest labels. They dumb as hell. They these girls will tell me what they've been told to post and do, and I'm like, please, for the love of God, don't do that. Like, don't do that, because okay, anyone can post 250 videos about a song and get it to blow up, but that's not going to be beneficial for the long term of your fan base. Like, okay, fine, blow up a song, then you're gonna have to do that for every song you release. What's more important is building a community of people who will listen to everything that you release because they care about you, because they like you. They not only like your music, but they like you. That why do you think Taylor Swift is Taylor Swift? Everyone
following.
Cult.
There you go.
No, she's got the cultest following in the damn world.
It
is amazing, and I completely lost track. So yes, I have a consultation business that I was running, and I had a client that I was like working with a lot last year, and then I have Madi B's Closet, which I'm really hoping will be released again by the end of this year. But basically, I did fully styled outfit boxes that were straight from my closet.
Oh, that's such a creative idea. I love that.
And every box looked like a PR box, because I think one of my favorite things about being an influencer, especially in the beginning, was getting all the PR and just feeling really special when you open a box and it's like all pretty and cute. So I made every box feel like that. It had a signature scent. It had a little gift in it. It was like a whole thing. And both my drops sold out day one. So which was really cool. So then I stopped production, because I want to do it like a million times better. And I want to work with small designers to do like custom pieces and drops incorporated with my like vintage and like repurpose styling. So I was running that. And then I was also running an affiliate marketing platform where I was producing 60 short form shoppable videos a month.
60 a month?
On top of my normal content.
How do you have time for all of this?
I built a software to help me automate as much as humanly possible, which I still use every day. But
oh my gosh, that is incredible. I had no idea. See, even just in our like brief conversations that we had when we were at Web Summit, like I only knew about like, you know, your team that you had built and everything. I didn't know you were doing all of this different stuff.
One, I don't really talk about it on social media, because honestly, I want to be a creator. And what's crazy is like that was my life. And it was very eye-opening being in Portugal for the first time. I'm literally from the tiniest town in Missouri. I went to Europe for the first time in my life, paid for a work trip, and I spent every single day, every day that we weren't working on the summit, I was working on everything else that I was doing, like nonstop.
I remember you were saying that you were like exhausted.
I was staying up all night because of the time change, and I was trying to communicate with my team. I was working nonstop, and that was really eye-opening experience for me, because I'm like, wow, I've pretty much done so many things this year that I thought I'd never do, and I don't know if I'm enjoying them to the full potential, because I am so laser focused on the business. But what I really, really, really want is to be a personality, is to be a creator, is to be talent. And so I dissolved my affiliate business.
Really?
I fired my whole team. Like, this was 2 months ago. Literally 2 months ago.
Wow, okay.
I stopped doing consultation. I paused Madi B's Closet, and the only thing I'm focused on right now is being a creator.
Okay.
For the first time ever. Like, I've always been on the business side just as much, like way more than being a creator. And I've managed
you know
to grow.
what? Like, to me, what's just as impressive as like starting a bunch of new ventures is knowing when too much is too much, and knowing when to like what you should pursue and what to close the door on, because that's, for me personally, that's even more difficult than like starting new ventures in the first place.
I agree.
Like,
it was really tough. And honestly, the thing that would have held me back is my ego. And I refuse to let my ego get in the way of anything. I've watched so many people in LA do it all the time. And like, I believe in myself. I don't need anyone else to believe in me the way that I believe in me, because I know this was the right choice. And the past 2 months have been the happiest 2 months, and I've done the least.
Okay,
like
there you
I've
go.
done the least amount in the past 2 months, and I needed this. Like I needed this reset. I needed to like refocus my goals. I went to Joshua Tree for New Year's
Nice.
by myself. I did a whole
really?
like ceremony on New Year's Eve. I made a vision board, and I looked at my vision board every day, and I'm like, how the fuck am I going to get here doing all of this that I'm doing over here? And that's why it's like,
that is so cool. We're literally so alike. I did
love
for
that.
during like Christmas and New Year's, I did a meditation retreat where I was
Yes!
doing daily meditation
yeah,
and like
that's what I did right on New
reframing
Year's,
like
yeah.
my mind and like looking into the new year and what I wanted to do.
Amazing.
Same type of thing. It's so
I love
healing,
that.
right?
It's so healing.
cool.
And literally at midnight, I was screaming, releasing. I was like, get out of me. Negative energy, be gone.
That's so cool. I mean, props to you for like really focusing on what you know will bring you the most joy and the most like fulfillment. Because
well,
it's
you
tough,
have to,
you know?
what is your definition of success? We have to
Yes.
redefine that, because in America, the definition of success is money, power,
Yep.
social climbing, like especially in LA.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's not my definition, because I was raking it in last year. I was making a really good living, and I would much rather fulfill my heart. And I know that if I continue to make money in that direction, I was going to continue to manifest money in the wrong direction. And I would much rather
That's a really good
manifest
point.
happiness and alignment with my higher self, and the money, the success, the social, all of it's going to come. But I would much rather take the tortoise route than the hare.
I think that's better. I think that's better, especially when you know exactly like what fulfillment, meaning, and like success personally looks like to you. And I mean, from what you've shown through in your content and what you've talked about, like it seems like a huge part of that is empowering women. And you also talked about like how you want to empower women because you grew up in a way that was disempowering. Like, do you mind like sharing a little bit about that? 'Cause I'm a little curious, because you are so passionate about like really just sparking joy within your content, which I think is so inspiring to so many people, even not women like myself, you know, which is super cool.
Women and allies, baby. Women and allies.
Girls, gays, and nays. Woo!
Girls, gays, and nays. Yes. Even the straight men can be involved as long as they're empowering. I have a few men who follow me who are like, "You're a bad bitch," and I'm like, "Thanks, Harry."
Yes, there you go. Well, yeah, I mean, like, what kind of inspired that? Like, what really drives you from your personal experience?
Honestly, so I grew up in a very small town in Missouri, like no Wi-Fi until I was 16 years old type of town.
Really? Wow.
Never listened to secular music, never really knew anything about pop culture at all. Like I just grew up very isolated. And in a Bible Belt. And so my whole life, my literal whole life was the church. Jesus. Jesus rocks.
Gosh.
That was my whole life. And I was like the lead of the worship band my whole life.
Oh my God.
I was
really?
at church 5 times a week. Like,
bro, we are so alike. You're literally like describing my childhood too.
Stop.
This is really wild.
dude, I wore a pure earring until I was 20.
No way. Oh my gosh. So you were like, you were deep
I did
in
not
the church.
cuss. I did not drink. I never did anything with boys. Like I was straight as a damn arrow. And guess what? It never worked. Like I was never enough. I struggle talking about this because I know when I was in this very religious state, anyone who said one negative word about what I believed in, I was like, you are never seen. Like I will never listen to you. Like I would just look so I struggle because I never want anyone of my following that is religious to feel like I am I just know how I used to think.
Yeah.
And even though I'm not religious at all now, I'm actually closer to my higher power than I've ever been in my whole entire life. But I never want to, offend anybody. But at the same time, like that's such a big part of my story because my biggest heartbreak in my whole entire life was the church, because the church hurt me so bad. I was never going to be what they wanted me to be, especially like up there leading worship. I mean, one of the biggest, I want to elaborate on this in the future, but like one of the biggest moments that really shifted in my mind was like how the closest I ever felt to God was when I was on stage singing. And I basically, when I was like 17, was on the worship team, and like the pastor called me and my parents in and was like, basically like, we don't think that you're here for the right reasons. You're a temptress. You're tempting all the men in the church. And I would literally go up there, hair in a bun, no makeup, sweatshirt. I would do anything to like desexualize myself because I was so accused constantly of that. I mean, I grew up when I was 12. I had D cups. Like I was just always small town, big boobs.
My God, God forbid puberty. My goodness.
But like you're really, and of course, like pretty problems, whatever. But it really is a thing. It is such a thing, and I was so demonized for it. I had zero friends. I switched schools 3 times because of bullying. I never like I was never empowered by anyone. No one ever told me I could do anything. I mean, honestly, the reason I got so deep into business was because, I mean, my whole life, anytime I expressed interest in like the arts, whether it's music or fashion or whatever, I was told, no, you need to go, like, you can be in the arts on the business side, but you're never going to make it on the other side, you know?
Yeah.
And the only reason I'm here, the only freaking reason I'm here is because of me. Because I just like, that desire was put inside of me by my highest self, and it's been screaming at me my whole life, and there's no one who wants it more than I do. And I want it, and like what I loved about our round table discussion was like, what is the purpose behind our desires?
Yes.
What's if we're influencing people, what are we influencing people to do?
Exactly.
Why do we not take this more seriously? Like that's the reason I became an influencer, because I was watching all these influencers and I'm like, this is awful.
I know, like, what are they inspiring? What behaviors are they encouraging in their audience? Because, and I'm so glad you recognize this too. As an influencer, you have a responsibility for the type of behavior you're encouraging your audience to do. And not only the type of behavior, but also the way that they are feeling, the way that they view themselves, you know? And man, your story, I resonate so much with, because it's kind of freaky how similar my story is here. You use same type of thing, like super religious, church like 5 times a week, you know? I was always performing on stage. I was singing in church.
Well,
for
also
events,
like
you know?
Sexuality speaking, like I suppress. I'm pansexual.
I didn't know that.
I
Okay.
really only advertise like bisexual, but like I don't know.
I think, yeah.
What does that even mean? Who
You're
cares?
attracted to anyone. Yeah.
I'm just attracted to people by their soul. Like I'm
Love
very
that.
attracted to
Yes.
like the energy exchange within someone. But that also, like, from the time I was literal, I remember the first time like I ever had thoughts, and I felt I had a whole panic attack because I was like, I'm so bad, I'm so, you know, like
this is the evil part of me. I have to hide this, suppress this.
Yeah, exactly. But I would have crushes on friends all growing up. Like I would get jealous when they have boyfriends. I'm like, he is not good enough for you. We should kiss and practice.
Oh my gosh. But then you understand the experience of like having to like suppress that, and that in a hyper religious setting,
and
you
even
know?
after I realized what I believed and what I didn't believe. Even after when I would start to date girls, I would panic and ghost them. I would just like feel so guilty. So it just took really long time. Honestly, it's sometimes still in the back of my mind because it's so ingrained. It's so ingrained.
Religious trauma is not just a catchphrase. It is a legitimate thing that takes so long to unlearn. Because for me too, same thing, like when I would like kiss a guy or, you know, even when I would come to a point where I would like, you know, sleep with a guy, get with boyfriend, there's constantly in the back of my head, which over time fades away.
It does.
But where you're like, you're sinning, you're a terrible person, blah, blah, blah. Because that's not ever because I believed that personally, but that's was drilled into my head since the day I was born. And so it's natural for you to just kind of think of that. And it takes a long time to get out of that religious trauma. Props to you for
you
doing
too.
That.
Good for us. I'm so happy for us for living our truth, because the problem the main problem, well, one of the main problems that I have with religion is that it's all no's. You know, it's denying yourself. You're constantly forced to deny who you are. And I couldn't do it anymore. But when you say about the voices in the back of your head, something I've been doing recently that's really helped is, even when it comes to like body image and just like all of these things that I know, any time you have someone being mean to you in your head, that's never yourself. Your highest self will never speak to you negatively like that. So then when I try to identify like whose voice is that. Sometimes it's my mom. Sometimes it's like someone from my past, you know, whatever. But the main point is, like, I remind myself, I have to, whenever I have those feelings, I'm like, Madeline, you are safe. You are safe to eat this right now. You are safe to have a healthy body. You are safe to have a feeling for this woman that's in front of you that you genuinely have a connection with, and it's not bad. And you have to like because that's these voices. The voices are telling you basically all of those mean things are like, you're not safe right now. Like,
exactly.
I am not safe to eat, because if I, gain weight, then people aren't. It's just like all of this, backlog of trauma in the back of my mind. And I have to re-encourage myself that constantly, like, of my safety, because that's really what it's a trauma response.
That. So like I'm curious, did you learn this in therapy?
I am, girl. Okay. I am in therapy. Like, I am in there every week, 2 hours.
I was gonna say, like, this is like such valuable stuff you learn in therapy. I'm not sure if you've heard of IFS, internal family systems.
Yes,
it has been so transformative for me.
I'm in EMDR.
What? Oh, so you know what? I just started EMDR. Life changing.
Love.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it changed my whole
EMDR, or like internal family systems, it's identifying like what where those negative like messages are coming from, and identifying what parts of yourself from your past are essentially scared. Like scared to let you take a step, scared to let you move in a certain way because of whatever trauma is associated with that. So by identifying those like previous memories or those previous instances where that trauma was first inspired, and saying to it, you're safe, you're protected, I'm here for you, you're worthy. It's so transformative. And I love that you like touch on that. I mean, what was the process of you really identifying and resonating with your higher self? Because I think a lot of people struggle to really tap into like, what the hell is my higher self? I had to
murder my ego.
Okay.
I had to kill her in cold blood. No, dude, for real though. Like, I really had an absurd rock bottom. Like I told you a piece of my story, but it's like a whole lifetime of trauma, like back to back. Yeah. And I give trauma absolutely zero credit for everything that I have done. The reason I am who I am is because of what I did with the trauma, the work that I did. I have done so much self-work. Yes, therapy, but it's not enough. It's everything that you do outside every single day, like reinforcing the things that you're learning and like re-educating yourself as much as possible. The journaling, the meditating, the constantly like trying to connect with that person. Honestly, my connection with my higher self is because I want to reach my potential so bad. Like, I want to know who I'm supposed to be more than anything else. Like, I'm not afraid of change. I think that a lot of people, the reason that they fear healing and the healing process is because there's so much change that comes with it. And you lose a lot of people out of your life. You can't take a lot of things and people with you. And, I'm no contact with people in my life that I would never, ever, ever in a million years think that I wouldn't have a relationship with. But I did it for myself, and I will do it again. Like, I prioritize myself. My higher self knows what's good for me. But I think, like, the connection with her was genuinely through so much genuine love that I had, that I built for myself. And, like, that's such a deep process. Yeah. And have you ever heard like the go green method?
Go green, like maybe from a sustainability perspective, but not like a mental health perspective. I'm not sure. Go green. No.
I'm gonna struggle to explain it because I don't remember the exact vocabulary, but it's basically like being able to identify when you're in your ego state, when you're making choices from like an ego perspective versus like when you transition and shift to making choices and that are from your highest self.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it's like go green, like when you're in the red zone, the ego zone, like go green. And
I love that.
Our ego is also good. Like having it, we're human.
Having an ego, like at a certain level, is not a bad thing because ego is necessary in order to sustain ourselves, prioritize ourselves, make sure we're healthy, make sure we're safe. But at a certain point, you gotta cap it.
Yeah, you have to prioritize your higher self always, and like look past the human side because it's the when you're really hyper aware of like what other people are thinking about you. That's ego. When like my ego could have real easily gotten in the way of me dissolving all my businesses because that was my whole life. I worked so hard on that. That was why I got to Web Summit. Like I got so many opportunities. I was making a lot of money doing it. I felt like a bad bitch being like, yeah, I got 4 damn businesses. Like, but like, is that what I want? Is that my purpose? Is that my highest self? I don't think so. I think that's going to come in time because I'm definitely a CEO. But
yeah, oh my God, I love that. Yes. No, yeah, because it's not relevant to your higher accomplishments. Don't really mean anything to your higher self.
Accomplishments is when like there's a difference between accomplishments and success. Accomplishments only really benefit you. Success is when you can benefit other people, and that's what I want. That is what I want.
That's so good. Yeah, I could love that because success goes beyond, I think, yourself. And I love that you did touch on before how the term success has been so diluted by corporate America and capitalism and all that kind of stuff.
Because America is a business.
Exactly. But like truly what success means, like, and especially to your higher self, like what you were talking before, is what can provide you that deep meaning and fulfillment. And in my personal belief, that primarily comes through helping others. That makes anytime I'm in a place where I can help others, whatever that looks like, I notice just feeling so much better than any material possession, any accomplishment, any amount of money, anything like that can provide you. It's so much more meaningful to be able to be participating in something that benefits other people.
You know what's one of my favorite things I've ever, so I have this album in my phone called Blessings, and that's where I put all of my like really kind DMs from my followers, anything that like uplifts me and makes me feel like aligned, like women telling me that I've helped build their self-confidence. Like that's my whole entire life. But I think one of my favorite things anyone has ever said to me is, Maddie, you are going to be so successful and you are going to help so many people along the way. Because when you are aligned, like that success is that financial, physical, worldly success comes with it. And people don't, I just like feel like people think it's either or, but it's not. It's truly not. I don't live in a world where it's either or. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I love that. You know, there's obviously like nuance there. And I think we tend to just look at the external factors only of just like the glitz and the glamour and all that kind of stuff, thinking that the meaning is primarily in that when it's not. It's absolutely about like what's driving the work, that purpose, you know, of being able to help people. And I love that your goal is to like focus on empowering women. Like in terms of your higher self, like where do you really see yourself going in? Like what's the biggest impact you want to make in terms of like helping women? What is it with their confidence or business opportunities or mental health, aligning with higher self? Like
I love all the things you're saying, but I think so much of it is that our society does not profit on women loving themselves. If women truly, if like our society was uplifting women and truly wanted them to have confidence and have self-love, it would be detrimental to corporate America because corporate America profits and thrives off of feminine insecurity. Like, why do you think women spend the most? Like hair, makeup, outfits, which, okay, I love hair, I love makeup, I love outfits, I am not saying any of that, but I think that's one of the reasons that, you know, it's very much not, we have all of these, you know, self-love things, but the main messaging in our society is women comparing themselves to other women, and that is the death of joy, and I hate it. Like, and that's just one reason why I think that it also stems from the patriarchy.
Oh, absolutely.
And I want to dismantle the patriarchy.
Yes,
as Taylor Swift said, fuck the patriarchy. In her 10-minute
Yeah.
in her 10-minute all too well. That's my favorite line.
I love it. No, seriously. I mean, like, I recently did an episode where I was talking about like a lot of issues within the LGBT plus community, specifically the gay community, and how most of the issues all trail back to the patriarchy.
It's wild.
Like, it's not even just affecting women in terms of like the profitability of insecurities, but it's also negatively affecting other facets of our society and men too.
I was just about to bring this up. Have you ever heard of the book The Will to Change?
Yes, I have. I haven't read it though.
You have to read it.
Okay.
So I'm halfway through, but I've re-listened to the first half 3 times now because there's just so much valuable information. I went through a deep, dark man-hating phase, which was very justified, by the way. I mean, I've lived a lot of darkness with men, and like I accept that time in my life, but I don't want to live like that. That's not how we curate change. Hate will, no matter if it's justified or not, hate will never curate the change that we need to see.
Yep.
And this book is so valuable to me because I'm learning the negative factors of the patriarchy on the male side of things, and it's very sad. It is very sad, and the more that I learn, the more that I see it in the real people in my life, and I feel sad because it's all about, like, what I never imagined was, even though female emotions are seen as a weakness, male emotions are seen as you cannot have that. And I can't imagine living my life not able to cry or be sad, and the only way I'm able to express my emotions in a masculine way is through anger. Why do you think we have so much violence?
Exactly.
It's the only way that men are socially acceptably allowed to express emotion.
Yep.
And it makes so much sense to me. It is a very, very, very sad. And I see it in so many men in my life. I don't accept it. That's not an excuse.
Yeah.
If you want to, I've done a lot of change and self-work, and there was a lot of internalized misogyny, especially internalized homophobia, internalized misogyny that has come from, the place where I grew up.
I mean, your childhood,
my childhood. But I've done the work. So can you. Like,
exactly.
That's not an excuse, but it does help me understand and be empathetic and help. At some point, I do want to start educating on that side of things, but I just want to grow my female
You totally
audience
should.
more.
And I mean, and I think just what you were talking about, how the patriarchy does not benefit anyone. And particularly, like, when a lot of men talk about, like,
crazy that men think it benefits them.
I know, because I'll see, like, men's rights or incels or people like that talking about the problems that men face, and they point it at feminism, but I'm like, no, the patriarchy is causing these problems. The patriarchy is literally the source of, like, all the problems, not only impacting women in so many detrimental ways that you were just describing, but also men as well, which is why I completely support your interest in disabling the patriarchy, because I think it's very much needed.
I also think it's very much, and what's also sad to me is how much I see it in women, because as even a lot of feminism, like a lot of feminism thrives off of like the hating men aspect of it, but I don't think that most people understand. That's why I'm really passionate about this book. This is and I haven't even finished it yet. Like I've been over and over.
I have to start it. The Will to Change.
I would love for you to start it, and we can have a little book club.
Oh yes, let's do it.
But the change that I would like to see in feminism is a change in the perspective on men and more women supporting male emotion, because there's a lot of feminists that I've seen talk about, like, oh, I find it like really unattractive when a man like cries to me, like, and it's like, you don't understand. I don't believe that your intention is this, but you are just that you are following in line with the patriarchy perfectly when you do things like that. We should be uplifting men to be human, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing to have human emotion. And
exactly.
I don't know.
Oh no, I could go down a whole rabbit hole
I know,
with that
I'm
one
trying
too
not
because
to. I'm like,
no, it's good. I mean, like, you know, wanting men to break out of masculinity, but weaponizing any attempts that men do to break out of that, like, you know, two straight guys like hugging each other, like showing affection or showing emotion, and people being like, that's sus, I think they're gay, or blah blah blah. I'm like, oh my god, this is literally just promoting what patriarchy is trying to do in the first place. Oh, I could go on a whole rabbit hole of that. But like, absolutely, I love that you're touching on those things. And like, I've seen how you have started to integrate it in your content. Like, now that you're a full-time creator,
I'm so happy.
how do you want that to evolve within your content?
Well, we kind of talked about this before, but I need somewhere to. It's hard to really communicate through short form content. I love short form content, but there's only so much that I can do with it. And so there will be long form content this year. And that's what I'm really excited about, because there's so many things that I'd love to discuss with my community in a longer way where I can really explain out my intentions, and you can feel my heart. With short form content, you have to cut out every single pause, you cut out the emotion almost when you're doing short form. And there's just so much to this. Like, this conversation could not happen in a short form way, really.
No way.
So maybe that's podcast, maybe that's YouTube, maybe that's something. But
okay.
I'm really, really looking forward to have like a deeper relationship with the people that follow me. And I'm young, but I have been through many experiences, traumatic, and otherwise, in my life, and I have to give them purpose. This whole healing process that I've been doing is all for the purpose of using it so that other people learn things that I didn't learn before they go through the trauma that I experienced. And that's my life goal, genuinely, because if there was someone like me that I could have followed back when I really needed someone to uplift me or identify red flags that I didn't see, because we only know our experiences. So if someone's punching a wall next to me, but I lived a life with someone who was always fucking punching walls, how was I supposed to know that that's not normal or not okay? You know? And so I want to be that person. I want to be that voice so much. Ew, I'm crying. But I just like, that's the whole point. Like, that we talked a lot about that in our round table. I mean, we fought for it. So.
I mean, and I think it's so powerful, because I always talk about the power of a story, just having someone out there that you can look to as just a singular like beacon of hope in the darkness. Because I know for me, growing up as a gay kid in an extremely religious family, knowing that if I ever opened up about who I was, I would not have a place at home. I would never be shown love. Had I had someone online to help me through that, to say that it's going to be okay, that you're going to get through this, and like really hold on to that hope, it would have gotten me so far. And I'm I'm so proud of both of us for getting there on our own, but how amazing of a world that we live in now, where there can be so many examples of that. And if you can be that for someone,
and that we can actually be that. And if so, it makes everything worth it. Every single thing worth it. If I can do this, that's why I'm like, I have to reach my potential. There's nothing I want more. But yeah, I'm so excited.
Even where you are at now, damn, you're like blowing everyone away, blowing your like potential out of the water. I think you're doing such an incredible job of progressing like right now, and regardless of how many businesses and all this kind of stuff, like just the fact that you're in line with your higher self, that you're wanting to help people, like the fact that that's driving you to do everything that you do in your life, not out of ego motivated interest, but out of a desire for that meaning and fulfillment that you can not only have but provide to others. Like, brava. Like, seriously, so proud of you and having this conversation. We didn't get to talk like a whole lot at Web Summit, but even talking now, I'm just like, oh my God, I resonate with you so much more. Like, too. And your story and everything. Like,
and there's so much more. We've touched on like the brim, so we'll have to do this again at some point.
Round 2.
Yeah, round 2, baby. Let's make this the highest download podcast. Hyram podcast.
And if you ever do come out with your own podcast, let me know, because I will be supporting, I will be sharing, and you guys need to follow. But in the meantime, like, where can people follow you on social media?
Of course. I mean, we got TikTok, Madi, everything's on Madi B Webb. TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube. I've got it all. But
sweet. Make sure you guys go follow her for some bomb ass content and some inspiration as well. Thank you so much for coming on again. This was such an awesome conversation, and more importantly, thank you for being vulnerable and opening up. Because
of course, that's the whole point,
really means
baby.
A lot. Yes, of course. Well, thank you guys so much for listening and watching. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. This has been a presentation of Cadence 13 and Odyssey Studio. New episodes out wherever you listen to your podcasts, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Mwah.